Yo, thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. It's 1:19 p.m. Pacific time. It's December 29th, 2025. Let's begin. Democrats redistricting win sparks a new party war in California. When Zoran Mamdani's lead media strategist slipped out of town and flew west to cut an ad for a little-known progressive in the heart of California's Central Valley, he was opening a new front in the Democratic Party's civil war. Democrats at the time were on their way to gerrymandering the state's congressional districts to flip 5 seats, a nationally watched effort central to winning back control of making a slate of districts more competitive for Democrats. The party is also intensifying a long-standing battle between moderates and progressives about what kind of Democrats should carry the banner. In the district that Mandani's media strategist visited, the battleground seat held by Republican Representative David Belladao, progressives are going for the jugular. The race to the Democratic Party is when we run candidates who take corporate money, refuse to criticize the people wrecking the economy and ruining the lives of working class people, said Morris Katz, Mamdani's consultant, and undercut the credibility argument that we're making as a larger party. In the early months of the campaign, Katz's client, Randy Villegas, has pilloried his more moderate opponent, state lawmaker Jasmeet Bains, for taking money from corporations and voting against placing the gerrymander on the ballot. While Baines has swiped at Villegas' residency just outside the district, this brought Katz out to cut an ad over footage of Baines and Belladao, in which he tore into his opponents, Democrat and Republican, alike for taking money from the same corporations that are ripping us off. The Working Families Party pushed out a complimentary analysis showing overlap in Baines and Belladao. This is a fight for the soul of the Democratic Party, Villegas, a school board trustee and auto shop owner, said in an interview. We have to ask ourselves, are we going to be a party for the billionaires, or are we going to be a party for the working class? Baines posted on social media asking what gave a man the permission to resort to his campaign is going nowhere. To Democrats watching it, it is the kind of infighting that they often worry about in a candidate before a runoff election, which in this case is likely to be against Belladao next fall. But it is especially troublesome to them given the rare opportunity they have. The district's Democratic registration advantage grew by more than 4 percentage points after the gerrymander. And while Democrats sank months and millions of dollars into passing redistricting at the ballot, they've done far less to settle party infighting in the aftermath. The candidates have split congressional endorsements and raised similar amounts, but less than Belladao combined. Republicans in California widely view the race as winnable despite the gerrymander, given Belladao's wins in districts with Democratic voter registration advantages. A dairy farmer he combined by maintaining strong relationships with the region's agriculture and oil industries while voting to impeach Donald Trump in early 2021, and otherwise building a while Trump won his new district by 1.8 points in 2024 and Belladao outperformed him. Villegas mounted what he describes as an economic populist challenge to Belladao in April, supporting Medicare for all in a district that had led toward Trump prior, but his associations with the Working Families Party and other progressive groups left open a lane for a more moderate Democrat. California Democratic favored operatives started recruiting. CEIU California, the state's largest and typically progressive labor union, encouraged Baines to take a run at Belladao. She's a pariah among many progressive lawmakers in Sacramento, after splitting with her party on everything from GOP-backed sex trafficking legislation to oil, a dominant industry in her region. But her independent streak is seen as an electoral asset by moderate Democrats. Leaders of SEIU, which is composed largely of healthcare workers, argued Bain's background as a physician positioned her well to knock off Valadao following his July vote for healthcare cuts in the Big Beautiful Bill. Baines, in members' opinion, is the strongest champion, especially in this moment, to fight back against a Congress, a Senate, and an administration who's attacking healthcare every chance that they get, said CEIU California Executive Director Tia Orr, who was involved in the recruitment effort. She is her best and only chance at beating David Valadao come November of 2026. Before announcing a run, Baines appeared in an ad hating Valadao over healthcare cuts and met with reps Marley Strickland and Grace Meng as part of their roles with the Congressional AAPI caucus and its financial arm. Soon after the caucus, Aspire PAC began to make the case for Baines. It endorsed her and circulating polling that it had commissioned, suggesting she'd be more runoff against Valadao than Villegas would be. We heard early on that she was interested in running, so our members were able to get connected with her, said Aspire PAC Executive Director Nick Jordan. And we've been happy to support her from the beginning. It wasn't enough to knock out Villegas. Out. He brought on Rosa Mendoza, the Chief Analytics Officer for campaign, Luis Alcatur, who worked on Senator Bernie Sanders' 2020 campaign as consultants. During the third quarter of the year, he raised slightly less than Baines, but has still outraised her by about $150,000 overall since beginning his campaign. He rolled out endorsements for Sanders and the Congressional Progressive and Hispanic caucuses. When Villegas ran the ad by cancel, Baines posted on social media within hours seemingly alluding to it. Political violence increases in America. I myself have experienced a heightened level of it, Baines wrote on Facebook. Before asking the rhetorical question, what gave a man the permission to resort to spreading lies just because his campaign is going nowhere? Asked if she was referring to Villegas, Baines demurred in an interview before describing instances in which she said her house was vandalized and she was hit with a hate speech and threats over her Sikh identity. Threat against me and my community by people waging a transitional repression campaign to label all Sikhs as terrorists, and the people supporting the xenophobic messages of these organizations, Baines said. Baines' campaign has taken next to no explicit jabs at Villegas, but after Villegas' campaign criticized Baines for her vote against placing Democrats' redistricting measure on the ballot, her campaign noted she was the only candidate in the race living in the new Bakersfield area district. Villegas grew up in Bakersfield but lives outside the district in the nearby town of Visalia, where he's on the school board and teaches political science. Villegas supporters argue the melee with Baines won't hurt their party chances of taking the seat. They blame past Democratic losses on voter apathy caused by weak candidates. I think primaries make for a stronger party and stronger candidates, Katz said. Baines dismissed the risk of an intra-party fight damaging her party's chances too. Inter-Democrat fighting has existed since the first day I ran for office, she said. But Democrats have failed to beat Valadao every cycle since 2020, despite repeatedly targeting him, and Baines is well aware of the ideological conflict her party faces. We need to embrace candidates that reflect their districts, she said, not partisan purity. Anyway, thank you for joining. I really smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and down below let me know what you think. Follow me on Instagram, Studio11. Follow me on X, the Studio 2020. I like to say Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you in the next one.